Your feelings are a body sensation. But what we try to do is think our feelings. That's where we get into trouble. So all I want you to do is just open up your body, take off the top, and become a channel for feelings like, oh, grief is coming up. Let me let it up and out. Anger is coming up. Let me let it up and somatically squeeze it out. Frustration is coming up. Let me just push against the wall. Despair is coming up. Let me scream into my elbow. Annoyance is coming up. Let me go for a 20-minute walk. So let the emotions come up and through you, but get out of your head. Get out of the mental. Don't tell yourself the story of, oh, my boss did it again, or, oh, shoot, I have anxiety again. It's like we have the anxiety and then we have the frustration that we have the anxiety, and that's compounding your negative emotions or your unpleasant emotions. Stop compounding your emotions by telling yourself a story about them. Hey, I'm Brooke Jean, therapist, recovering perfectionist, and struggling working mom on a mission to normalize normal. If you're an overwhelmed, high-achieving, and secretly anxious mama, struggling to balance it all and on the brink of burnout, you are in the right place. Here is where we talk about hard things like balancing work and family life, mental health, and how to navigate life-altering transitions. Nothing is too taboo here. In my conversations, I'll teach you how to let go of who you think you're supposed to be in order to create the life you've always wanted. Get ready to embrace your messy, shed the shoulds, and find freedom through a life unperfected. This is the Unperfected Pod. Welcome back to the Unperfected Pod, where we normalize normal and find freedom in a life unperfected. What is up, mama? Brooke Jean, your host, coming to you again for another episode. I am so happy and grateful that you're here. So we are going into the holiday season, and I can already feel the rise in stress amongst the mama bears. I can feel the rise in overwhelm, the busyness, right? Like we're in Halloween right now. So it's like the parties and the costumes and the trunk or treats and the, just like the extra is starting to pour on. The thoughts about Christmas and Black Friday and Christmas cards and whatever holiday that you celebrate, like who's coming over, what are we doing? Like I can feel a rise in the angst of like, okay, it's holiday season, baby. We need to go gangbusters. And so I'm trying to come up with some content that will support you through the holiday season. So last week's episode was about holiday boundaries. If you have not had a chance to listen to that one, I chatted about holiday boundaries with Megan. She is the head therapist on my team. She is extraordinary. She's hilarious. And she is just like the habit queen. She loves teaching people how to take better care of themselves so that they can have better mental health. But holiday boundaries are really important. And then today, the topic that I want to address is stress. Because like I said, I can feel the stress rising in the collective. And I used to be somebody that had such a high level of stress back in my corporate America days, and I did not handle it well. And I was just like pondering this morning how I really feel like stress is like not even a thing in my life anymore. And like, how is that possible? Like, it's not that I have less stressors. It's not that I have less responsibilities. It's completely the inner work and the inner game that has helped me get to this place where I do not feel stress. Now, I still have moments of anxiety. I still have moments of overwhelm. But I mean, I used to like, the stress would build and build and build and build until I would get like a 5-day headache. Like I wouldn't listen to the body signs that my stress was getting worse and worse. And all of a sudden I would need to go lay in my bed 4 days with like blackout curtains, not talk to anybody, not speak, not think, not anything. And this was literally my cycle. Like I would just go and suppress and repress my feelings and not work my stress out of my body and just take on more and do more and be more. And this is when I was in my prime perfectionism days back in corporate America. And I would literally make myself sick. So you might be experiencing physical symptoms like headaches, rashes. I cannot tell you how many women I work with have freaking rashes. And I'm like, dude, I'm not a doctor, but I think it's like we need to get the emotion out of your body. We need to get the anxiety, the hormones, the stress out of your body. I think the rash could be your body saying, take care of me. Get this crap out of here. You could be having a really short fuse and be quick to frustration, quick to like snap at your kids or your husband or whatever, quick to be mean to yourself. You could be making mistakes. You could have like brain fog and forgetfulness. You could have like burnout symptoms. Like there's so many warning signs I feel like our bodies give us when we are rising in our stress level, and we just literally like ignore them, shove them down, and we're like, we do not have time for that. And so I'm hoping that today I can give you some things to think about, some things to consider, and some tools to put in your tool belt to help you with stress. Okay. So, number one, I think we have some misunderstanding about what stress is. So every day people come to me and they want to work on their stress, their anxiety, their overwhelm, but they think it's an external change that needs to occur so that they can feel better inside. So for example, they're like, if only my marriage was in a better place, I would be less stressed. If only, politics weren't so atrocious, I would be less stressed. If only I had less bills, I would be less stressed. If only my boss was more kind, I would be less stressed. If only I had more clients. And it's like people want to alleviate the inevitable stressors that exist in being a human. And that's not where the work is. So you will never be able to completely avoid stressors. In fact, in order to stay healthy and to keep our survival mechanisms to like tuned up and ready to rock, we need some level of stress, because the mechanisms in our brain and body that react for survival purposes, they need to like keep practicing. Okay. So we don't want our survival mechanisms to go completely dormant, because then we wouldn't survive. So we need some level of stress for those mechanisms to keep flowing. Okay. I'm going to teach you what those mechanisms are today. So we can't avoid stressors because that's just not possible. To be a human being, you're going to experience things that are hard. You're going to go through painful pockets. We all go through some level of suffering, trauma, all of it. It's part of being human. Spending your energy trying to avoid the inevitable is part of what's stressing you out. Avoiding pain is part of what's causing stress. We have to be okay with, hey, I'm a human. There's things that are hard. There's things that are easy. There's things that are painful. There's things that are pleasurable. And I am strong enough to handle all of it. So it's not about avoiding the stressors. You are going to experience stressors. It is how you take care of yourself in response to the stressors. So stress is actually a physiological response to the overwhelming information that's coming at you. So let me break down your mechanism, okay? So you have millions, in fact, billions of stimuli coming at you every second. I think it's like 11 billion. 11 billion bits of stimuli coming at you every second, okay? The stimuli is coming in through the retina, travels down the optic nerve, right? Yes. Travels down the optic nerve. Then it goes to this thing in your brain called the thalamus. The thalamus then decides, is this stimuli threatening or safe? If it feels like it's threatening in any way, it's going to send that stimuli to the amygdala. We call the amygdala Amy. She is the alarm center. She is the one that makes the call if something is going to be a threat or dangerous or triggering. So Amy decides, oh yeah, this is definitely a threat. We are going to need either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So she determines the level of response that we need. And once she determines, oh, we need a fight response, then she fires up the nervous system, and your brain and body then excrete heightened hormones so that you can be in a fight response. More adrenaline, more cortisol. This is where like our eyes dilate and we have like the world stops and we zoom in on a moment and we have like otherworldly strength and like we are ready to go. We are strong. We are powerful. We are in a fight response, right? And then what happens is we just absorb that surplus of adrenaline, cortisol, and all of the fight hormones. We just absorb it. We are the only animal that doesn't discharge that excess of hormone. Okay. If you watch an animal be chased in the wild, if it survives, you will see that it will throw itself on its side and have what looks like a seizure. It will shake out the trauma response. It will shake out the nervous system response. As humans, because of the way that we've evolved, we don't do that. So we just absorb. We just absorb. Now, we also have feelings. It's as a human being, feelings are body sensations in response to what all this stimuli that's coming in. And so whether you have grief or anger or rage or loneliness or irritability or discontent, it's like we just repress, suppress, avoid, and numb and stuff it. And those emotions have an energy just like your trauma response does. And we just absorb. We don't release the anger. We don't release the tears. We don't release the pain. We just absorb it. And so stress, and I also believe anxiety, is due to all of this stuck physiological response in your body, in your system. So your system is stressed because your body is hosting all of this unprocessed emotion and unresolved trauma response. It becomes too much for the system. You get backed up, if you will. You just start stacking the unprocessed emotion. You just start stacking the, excess of adrenaline and cortisol that you never moved out of the body, and you get congested. And the more congested your system, the more stressed and anxious and uncomfortable your body is going to feel, because your body is trying to tell you, please get this out of my body. So here's some things that you can do about it. So actually, let me back up. So it's not the stressor that is the problem. It's the backup of your physiological stress response that you are not processing and like digesting and metabolizing and moving out of your somatic system. That is the problem. Okay. There's a really good book. I know that I've recommended it here before. I'm going to recommend it again. It's called Burnout. They explain the science behind this. All right. So what do? We have to move the stress and the unprocessed trauma response, the unfelt feelings. We have to move that stuff out of the body. All right. So every single day, if you can, I want you to complete your stress cycle. Move the physiological stress response out of your body. What is the quickest and most efficient way to do that? 20 minutes of a brisk walk. 120 heartbeats per minute to 140 heartbeats per minute. This is why if you follow me on social media at Brooke Jean unPerfected, in my stories, I share my mental health walks where I have weights on my ankles, because I used to be able to hit that brisk walk 120 to 140 without the weights. But now I need the weights to actually get my heartbeat up enough to move the stress out of my body. I just did an Instagram live yesterday on the 5 benefits of a 20-minute walk. There are so many benefits of just getting your fanny outside, being in the elements, hearing the birds, getting the vitamin D and the sun and the air and the freshness. It shifts your energy and calibrates you immediately. It reminds your body, your human, that like, yeah, we're supposed to be outside. We're animals at the end of the day, guys. We're not supposed to be inside on screens isolated. We're supposed to be in nature. So the second you get outside and you feel the fresh air and the breeze and you hear the birds and you smell the flowers or the leaves getting crunchy and you feel the sun on your face, just that alone is so healthy. But if you go for 20 minutes, you're going to complete your stress cycle. You're going to move the physiological stress response out of your body. You're also going to release endorphins. You're also going to release oxytocin, and you're also going to kick your brain into neurogenesis, which is the birth of new brain cells, the birth of new neurons. We need as many of those free agents as possible, honey, because a new healthy neuron can start to build healthier neural pathways around positive thinking loops. Okay. I'm not going to go too far down that rabbit hole because if you want to hear more about it, go to Instagram and watch that live. But the most efficient way to complete your stress cycle is a daily outside walk for 20 minutes. Even if the weather's crummy, bundle up and go outside. This is what my wish would be for you, my love. If you could just commit to a 20-minute walk, we don't need to jog. Okay. We don't need to be looking like freaking T-Rexes out in the neighborhood. We don't need to jog. We don't need to do a HIIT workout. And if you love those things, more power to you, queen. I would rather die. All you need is a 20-minute walk. If you could commit to that every day for 30 days, you have no idea the shift you would feel in your body as it relates to stress. You will process things. You will move energy. You will metabolize emotion. You will rid yourself and discharge of the excess of adrenaline and cortisol. Like, this is what's up. And I really only want you to, like, when you're thinking about getting healthy, when you're ready to transform, I only want you taking on one habit at a time. And I want you integrating that habit every single day for 30 days until it becomes a natural, easy, organic, automatic habit. And then you'll really get the benefit. And then you will intrinsically be inspired to keep going because your body will start to crave that 20-minute walk. It's like, even if I don't feel like it, I still crave my morning meditation and breath work because I've done it for so long that I've received the actual neurobiological benefits that I sincerely crave it. Same thing with my mental health walk. It doesn't matter how much energy I have. I crave outside. I crave vitamin D. I crave seeing the blue sky. I crave the release that I get. It's just 20 minutes. It's just 20 minutes. You can find 20 minutes in your day for this if it's important enough to you. Okay. Other ways that you can complete your stress cycle: crying. Crying releases cortisol, and there's something alchemical that happens when you release tears from your face. The tears that absorb back into your system are healing to your skin. Crying is beautiful. I've been saying this a lot lately with my clients. Cry, just letting water fall from your face because you're so moved, whether it's by grief or by beauty or by love or by loss. Letting your face just like release water is actually beautiful until you try to resist it. When you start to resist the tears, that's when we get ugly. That's when things get awkward. That's when things get weird. So for heaven's sakes, Billy, let the water fall out of your face and just be okay expressing like, wow, I'm having a wave of emotion right now. I'm having a wave of grief. I'm having a wave of loneliness. I'm having a wave of beauty. And I'm so moved that I'm letting it release out of my eyes. That will never make anyone uncomfortable. But when you like try to stop it and squish your face and say awkward things, and the energetic of that is like, That's the issue. But crying completes your stress cycle. Crying is so beautiful. Guys, I cry several times a week from all sorts of different things. I cry because I just have a wave of emotion. I'm not even sure what it is. I'm just like, oh, I'm going to cry. Or I go into the bath and I'm like, oh, I'm going to cry. Or it's like something sad is happening and I'm like, oh, that's devastating. I cry. Me and my daughter are watching So You Think You Can Dance right now. I got her into it finally. I got a homie to watch So You Think You Can Dance. I cry over almost every single performance because I'm so moved. We watch The Voice. I cry over the mother's responses to their kids getting picked. I'm sensitive. You guys know this about me. I'm highly intuitive. I'm highly sensitive and things move me. And I don't even know anymore if it's mine or someone else's. I'm working on that, but I just let it work its way through me. I don't make it mean something anymore. It's just emotion working through me. So that's a beautiful way to process emotion and to close your stress cycle. Creative expression is another way to feel your feelings and to close your stress cycle. So painting, drawing, gardening, dancing, singing, all of that. Creative expression, positive social interaction. So here's where therapy comes in. Speaking your truth in a safe container where you are really seen and held in a non-judgmental and loving way, like somebody really being with you and attuning to you and being like, I see you and I get it and I'm here for you. And being with somebody who's empathetic, that is a way to close your stress cycle. So just being in therapy, you're closing your stress cycle once a week or however many times you're going. Okay. The like 20-second hug and 6 or 7 second kiss, affection closes your stress cycle. So hold your babies cheek to cheek a little bit longer. Kiss your husband or wife a little bit longer, but affection, right? Meditation and breath work, another beautiful way. 8 minutes. 8 minutes is the magic number. Do breath work for 8 minutes. Do meditation for 8 minutes. Insight Timer is a free meditation app. You can YouTube it to get free things. I'm actually thinking about starting my own little profile on Insight Timer and adding meditations and visualizations and expansion brain spotting and breath stuff because I've now had 3 people and even just like live coaching, dropping some motivational downloads and channels. I've had so many people, 3 now, say, I guess that's not so many, but 3 people say, you need to record your voice on Insight Timer. Like, we like your voice for meditation, for visualizations. Like, you're good at that. Do that. And so I'm thinking about doing that and I'll let you guys know so you can have access to just like 8-minute meditations and visualizations and breathwork patterns with me. So those are some ways to complete your stress cycle, my love. My favorite, 20-minute brisk walk, but I also do daily meditation. I also do breath work each day. I also do creative expression. I also do hugs and kisses. Like when I'm reading books with my daughter at night, I like look over her shoulder as she's reading and we get the cheek to cheek. So I'm like closing her stress cycle as I'm closing my stress cycle. Listen, okay, we're just out here. We are just out here trying to help everybody. All right. So complete your stress cycle. Number 2 is you got to feel your feelings, which everything we just talked about also applies for feeling your feelings. Your feelings are a body sensation, but what we try to do is think our feelings. That's where we get into trouble. So all I want you to do is just open up your body, take off the top, and become a channel for feelings like, oh, grief is coming up. Let me let it up and out. Anger is coming up. Let me let it up and somatically squeeze it out. Frustration is coming up. Let me just push against the wall. Despair is coming up. Let me scream into my elbow. Annoyance is coming up. Let me go for a 20-minute walk. So let the emotions come up and through you, but get out of your head. Get out of the mental. Don't tell yourself the story of, oh, my boss did it again, or oh, shoot, I have anxiety again. It's like we have the anxiety and then we have the frustration that we have the anxiety, and that's compounding your negative emotions or your unpleasant emotions. Stop compounding your emotions by telling yourself a story about them. Okay, I have sadness coming up and through. If it's appropriate, I'm just going to cry. If not, I'm going to let my body know, hi, body, I see the sadness. I'm in the middle of a client session, but later today, I'm going to meet you and I'm going to let you up and out and through. So how we process emotion, and I actually have a separate podcast episode on how to process emotion. So go back and listen to that one. But how we process emotion is we just let it up and out. We don't tell ourselves a story about it. We stay out of our thoughts. We stay out of our mental, and we just cry it out, scream it out, pound it out, walk it out, dance it out, laugh it out, whatever. Like, we got to move the energy out of the body. And if you can stay out of your mental, it just takes a couple of minutes. Think about the saddest moments you've ever had in your life where you've cried the hardest you've ever cried. How long did it last? Maybe 20 minutes. And the reason it lasted that long is because you were thinking how sad it was. You were thinking how painful it is. You were thinking how much you don't want to feel this pain anymore. You were thinking about the future pain you were going to experience. You were thinking about what's wrong with you that you're still feeling the pain. You were thinking. And the thinking feelings just perpetuate the body feelings. And that's the cycle we get stuck in. But if you stay out of the thinking, and you just cry, and you just scream, and you just journal, and you just freaking twerk that ass, okay? You let it go in a couple of minutes. So this is when I say, just want you to be an open channel. Just let your feelings up and out. Let your feelings up and out. Because every time we suppress, repress, avoid, and numb, we get those feelings, which have an energy, stuck in the body. And when that somatic stuff begins to stack, here comes your stress. Here comes your anxiety. Here comes your rash. Here comes your lash out. Here comes your over drinking, overspending, overeating. Here comes your whatever. No, if we close our stress cycle and we feel our feelings, then we kind of clear out. We get uncongested, unconstipated. You can do this. You got this. There's nothing to fear about your feelings. We are meant to feel the wide range of emotion. It's beautiful. The more sadness you can hold, the more joy you can feel. So feel your feelings. Process your emotion. That is going to help you eliminate, reduce your stress in your body. Number 3, pay attention to the meaning that you're giving things. So we love to make things mean something negative about ourselves, and this stresses out our system, right? It's like somebody cuts you off and you make that mean something about you, and that stresses you out. Your boss has a tone in that email, you make that mean something about you, and it stresses you out. You don't have as many clients as you want, you make that mean something about you, and that stresses you out. Not as many people sign up for your free masterclass, you make that mean something about you. Your husband doesn't compliment you when you got extra done up today, you make that mean something about you. Your kids are failing math, you make that mean something about you. You can't afford this, that you make that mean something about you. Stop making everything mean something negative about you. It ain't that big, boo-boops. We are letting small potatoes inform our self-worth and our importance and our deservingness, which is stressing us out. It is not that big. Instead of letting little things be big, we need to grow our context, which is like, in the grand scheme of things, I am a good mother, so my child struggling with math doesn't mess with that. In the big scheme of things, I am a helper and a healer, and I have beautiful intentions. And so my sales being down this month does not determine the quality of helper I am. In the big scheme of things, I trust that everything is unfolding in divine order. So if I have this one setback, it doesn't mean something about me. right? It's like, what is your context? What is your belief system about the world, about the universe, your spirituality, what you believe about yourself, your self-worth, your quality of relationships, your heart, your intention? It's like, if your context is big enough, like I am a good person doing good work in the world and the universe is good and like more good is coming, then when I go through a contraction or a crunch or a setback or what feels like a failure, it's a small potato. It's a blip. I don't make it mean something about me. When your context is small and you let things mean something negative about you, you're in this crunch, you're in this contraction that creates stress in the body. So stop letting small potatoes be big potatoes. Let that ish roll off your back. It's not that big. I promise you, it is not that big. It is not that big. Being late for school, it's not that big. Not feeding your kids vegetables today, it's not that big. Losing your shit on your kids once in a while, it's not that big. Not having sex for a while with your partner, it's not that big. Having a slow month in your business, it's not that big. Bombing the presentation, it's not that big. Gaining 5 pounds, it's not that big. Guys, in the grand scheme of life, you are extraordinary. You are precious. You are a loving, kind person who is doing, if you're listening to this podcast, you care. You want to continue to grow and be better as a person, as a wife, as a mother, as a healer, as a professional, as a teacher, as a whatever. And so you are incredible and you're on the right path, babe. And if you're not, you'll know that soon and you'll get on the right path. Like, let's grow our context together so that when blips happen, we can see them for what they are. Oh, that was just a setback. I don't make that mean anything about me. Oh, I just had a moment with my partner. I don't make that mean anything about our marriage. Oh, my kids are struggling with something. I don't make that mean anything about my motherhood. Oh, my body is changing. I don't make that mean anything about my self-worth. Oh, you didn't call me back. I don't make that mean anything about me. It ain't about me. Stop making things mean something bad about you. That's a fear response. That's an ego response. That's a survival mechanism. It ain't that big, boo boobs. I say that with so much love. It ain't that big, boo boobs. Write that shit down on a sticky note. It ain't that big, boo boobs. As a playful, loving reminder that we are giving things meaning that we don't need to give it. We're going to grow our context so the small potatoes can just be small potatoes. So that way we can remember that we're worthy, that we're deserving, that we are inherently good, that we're golden, that we care, that we show up, that we matter, that we do good in the world, and that it's all going to be okay. It's all going to be okay. Even in the hardest of hard, even in the yuckiest crunch, even in the what feels impossible, you're actually going to be okay. So don't give your precious energy to the blip, to the small potato, to the setback, to the fear that your brain wants to tell you. Grow your context, not your response to the small potato. That's going to help you with your stress. So the fourth and final is set your boundaries. Part of why you're stressed is because you're still taking on too much. You're saying yes to things that you should say no to. You're trying to keep up with the Kardashians. You're trying to do all the things that a good wife and mother and whatever, you're trying to do it all. That's stressing out your system. We were designed to rest and recover and then go out and kill it. Rest and recover, go out and kill it. But what we've been doing because of societal conditioning is we've just been in the sprint mode of killing it. I'm trying my best at work. I'm trying my best in my marriage. I'm trying to be the perfect mother and have the perfect children and cook the perfect meals and have the perfect body and, fix generational trauma and help my kids with their emotional intelligence and grow and learn and expand in my leadership and, all the things. And it's like, guys, we're doing too much. Choose a couple of things that matter to you, like your core values, and let those lead your life. You don't need to do it all. You don't need to say yes to everything. You don't need to volunteer for everything. You don't need to respond to every email. You don't need to allow everything to feel like an ASAP. Other people's ASAPs are not yours. You decide what's an ASAP for you or not. You don't need to go to every holiday party. You don't need to have everyone over. You don't need to keep hosting the thing if you don't want to host the thing. You don't have to stay longer at the thing that you said yes to. You can cancel. You could say no and then decide last minute that it's a yes. You don't have to buy your kids everything. You don't have to make all of the meals that you've always made. You can go out to dinner for Thanksgiving this year. You can take your kids through the drive-through every once in a while or every day. I don't give a shit. I'm not going to judge you. But part of why we're stressing out our system is because we're saying yes to everything. We're internalizing the pressure of that. We're internalizing other people's emotional responses if we say no, or we don't come, or we don't give our kids what we think they want, or we don't host our in-laws, or we don't look like we're happy doing it, or we don't send out Christmas cards or Hanukkah cards, or we don't. We're internalizing all this pressure of our overcommitments. And again, that internalized pressure has a physiological response that, when stacking up over time, becomes stress. A no is okay, you guys. I don't know how else to say this. No is a full sentence. Say yes to the things that you actually want to do, and say no to the things that you don't. That way, for the things that you've said yes to, you can show up your best self. You can actually be present. You can actually feel grateful. But if you're finding yourself just like resenting everything through the holiday season, it's because you're doing things that your system doesn't want to do. And there's already things that we have to do that we don't want to do, right? Like making sure our kids brush their teeth, making sure they go to school, doing their homework with them, right? Making sure everyone eats enough food, making sure that we're not living in filth. Like, we're already paying taxes. We're already doing things we don't want to do. You don't now need to go to the extra holiday party. You don't have to make the turkey if you don't want to make the turkey. You don't have to. Why are we telling ourselves we have to do all this stuff? Go back and listen to the holiday boundaries episode with Megan and I. Okay. So part of why you're stressed out is because you're doing the most, and you're internalizing the pressure, and you're not shedding the shoulds. Okay. One of the key tenets to the unperfected brand and method is to shed the shoulds. The good girl conditioning of a good mom does this, a good wife does that, a good person does this. So I should, ba 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 ba. I'm supposed to, ba 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 ba. No, 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 ma'am. I don't follow the shoulds anymore. I follow the full body hell yeses. Yes, I actually am so excited to volunteer in my daughter's classroom for her holiday party this year, because last year they didn't have that as an option. That is a full body yes for me. But going to the extra trunk or treat at her ninja class, no, we already did a trunk or treat at her school last weekend. We also did the train this last weekend. And we have the Halloween party, and we have Halloween, and our neighborhood pops the frick off. I don't need the extra ninja thing for the extracurriculars. I also don't need to host people this year. I hosted people last year. I don't want to do that. Right? So like every year I'm like, okay, what do I really want to do so that I can do it, and I can bring my best, and I can be present for it, and I can be grateful for it. What do I not want to do? I'm going to get in front of that and let people know we're doing our own thing for this holiday. We're going to be doing our own thing for our family this year. We're going to be making ham instead of turkey, because I will not pull one more effing frozen turkey neck out of a bird ever again. That is not meant for me. I was not meant to do that kind of thing. I'm not doing it. I will get a honey baked ham, and I will not stuff butter under the skin of a raw bird. That is not meant for me. My soul says no, and I listen. Okay? I'm not doing what everybody tells me I'm supposed to do. I'm not going crazy for Black Friday shopping. I want nothing to do with it. That's why I'm out of retail. My husband is still in the chaos. I don't care. I don't want the $8 crappy toaster. I want the actual nice toaster. Okay. Like, what is a yes for you? Like this year, I wanted to get family pictures because we haven't had them in 3 years. So we got the beautiful pictures. We're going to have the Christmas card. The last 2 years, I didn't do it. That's not consistency about a Christmas card is not important to me. Being present with my kids on the actual day where we're all together and we're laughing and we're playing and we're going outside and Cam's playing the guitar and Cam's messing with Chloe and she's just so enamored with her big brother and I'm just so enamored with them and me and my husband are together and he's not stressed on this day and we're just as a family together. That matters to me. So it's a no to this. So it's a yes for that. That's a boundary. I get to decide what I'm a yes for. You get to decide what you're a yes for. But as women, as mothers, we internalize letting other people down. Oh, our neighbors are going to be disappointed that we don't want to have them over this year. Oh, my in-laws are going to be disappointed when we're only there for 1 hour or we say we're not doing it. Oh, my grandma's going to be disappointed if I don't send out a Christmas card. Oh, my kids are going to be disappointed if I don't get them the hot, trendy thing. Those are not your things to take on, my love. Other people's feelings are not your responsibility. Now, we're not out here hurting people, but we're just saying, this is what I'm a yes for. This is what I'm a no for. If that disappoints you, I'm so sorry you feel that way. That's yours to process with your therapist, my love. But for me, I want to make the most out of these holidays. I want to be present. And I know that when I overextend myself, I'm a crabapple. I'm grumpy AF. And I am one squeal away from a full-blown trigger. And you bitches do not want that. So instead of being triggered, let's be responsible for our own emotional intelligence and let's freaking set some boundaries. And in setting the boundaries, let's reduce our stress level. All right, my love, let's recap. Stress is a physiological response in your body that you've let stacked up over time and you got to let it go. So we are number one, going to close our stress cycle, complete our stress cycle every day. My favorite way, a 20-minute brisk walk. Number two, feel your damn feelings. Okay, let them up, out, and through. Number three, stop making everything mean something negative about you. Pay attention to the meaning that you're making of things. Grow in your context. And number four, set your boundaries, my love. Set your boundaries. Stop taking on other people's emotions and their disappointments so that you can show up joyfully for the things that you're a yes for. May this holiday season be less stressful for you. May you start to work this energy out of your body so that you can feel more grounded and present and alive, because that is my hope for you. I'm sending you so much love today and always. Will you please send this podcast episode to another woman, another mama, because I really want as many of us to take a deep freaking breath together and lower our stress levels through the holiday season. And the more mamas that hear this, the more mamas that release stress, the more they share, the more they share, the more they share. And my mission is to literally let the planet take a deep breath. So please share this with a mama in need or a woman in need, and let's help as many as we can. Take it easy this holiday season. All right, my love. Thank you for being here. Thank you for bringing your presence to this. I'll see you same time, same place next week. Bye for now. Hey, mama, if you made it to the end of this episode, I just want to virtually high five you because you've said yes to the opportunity of taking better care of yourself. And that is so meaningful and so amazing. You have no idea the ripple of goodness that's to come. If you've been enjoying the show, if you've been finding it helpful, if you've laughed a little or learned a new technique, will you do me a favor? Will you make sure that you're following the show, that you've given us a 5-star rating and left a review? That will absolutely help us get this podcast into more heads and hearts of as many mamas as possible. Because when we heal the mother, we heal the world. Also, if there's a specific episode that you've loved, will you make sure to share it with a friend? Just send them the link or share it on social media, and make sure you tag me at Brooke Jean unPerfected, because I absolutely love seeing that this is actually giving you the impact that you so desire and deserve. Thank you so much, mamas. Make sure you're taking care of yourselves and therefore each other.